Hello, this is Liquid Sun. I discovered recently that we now have this new position coming up, the Omamatics position. Normally, blue and green have kings that are placed on light squares. In this position, however, they're placed on dark squares. And playing against Luke and Matten, I found this new popular opening that just goes for all the tricks right off the gate. Namely, the new weak square for blue and green is this pawn right here. It can be attacked immediately by the queens, and also in two moves by the bishops. Furthermore, the move that opens up the bishops opens up the queens to attack the kings. So what I've seen is the popular first move, of course, is this: set up a check, attack, and I think the best move is just to block the check, allow the queen to become active so that it can guard this very important rank with the queen. What normally happens next is then continue like this. Same thing, block the check. And then red just pushes the pawn to threaten the checkmate. Now, when I was first looking at the position, I was thinking maybe the rook pawn up be the way to go. And I think that's what I did in this game. We can quickly see why that's not the best way to go. So the idea with this queen move, it's a very important place for the queen, up here specifically, because then you can go in for this, but also you can support a knight jump. And one thing to note, if you don't move the queen out immediately, I'm pretty sure you can just move the queen and sack, and then you have this checkmate idea, and blue can't do anything about it. So you always have to guard, and I think the best piece to guard it with is the queen, because you want to get the queen active. You move the knight up, then you're looking at a inactive queen, and I'm pretty sure you can just take advantage of that. So, as I said, the move next is the queen here. And you have to block. I think knight placed here is the best, and we'll go into that when I go into the details of this opening. But importantly, what do you do here as green? If you try to block, red has this move, push the bishop up, and then you can just take with the knight anyway. And blue really has no good way of defending that, because red and yellow control all the lines to it. So, for example, it would take 2 moves to move all the way down here. Like, let's say you do that. Red goes here. Then you would go over here with the attention. Okay, but now you take. Then you take back. And then, yes, I guess next move would be there, but next move is ultimately a little bit too late. Right, like let's say you move down, of course that's obviously mate. So you want to probably disrupt the only move you have to prevent checkmate. Just move the queen over there, and then you can still just check. And then the only move is to take, and then you take, and this is just game over. You can take the queen next turn. If you want to, you can keep the bishop alive, which might even be better. You might have a mating attack. Point is, yeah, you take over here, check, and then you move the queen down. You only have one no. Actually, I don't know. Anyway, you're at least down a queen here. And so, point is that you must move the pawn up one square in this opening, not two squares. So the reason why I move it up one square is now you block that diagonal. Right, let's say you go with a normal opening like this. Okay, now first we have to look at a trick that people might try. I found this move. And the idea with this move is that you can then go here next. The queen wants to be here, remember. It's very important the queen is here to guard the weakest square and also to guard the square opened up by the other queen. Here, you can attack that square and threaten check with the next knight jump. So, what you want to do is you want to prevent that. Now, as yellow, you can go one of these two, and the idea is that next you're going to take there. So, what I saw was the bishop. I think it doesn't really matter too much whether it's a queen or the bishop. And here is green, you must be timely. One of these two squares, clearly what you want to do is you want to then move over here next with the threatening the mate. So if you take, blue can go back with the mate threat. And at the same time, you'll be attacking that square. So I guess bishop is better, right? Because then you take back with the pawn. So I don't know which square is better. I haven't analyzed it for the queen. Let's just go with this one. So if you take, now you take over here. Okay, so you have a nice check setup. And so I'm guessing what you may want to do here is I'm guessing you would want to double up on that check. Then you move down and you have to defend that. So I'm guessing you want to defend here because you want to keep the queen active. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't. Maybe because you plan on moving the queen here anyway. So you take, and now if you check, yeah, so I guess this was accurate, because now if you check, queen can move down to block the check, and blue can take, and the queen supports. Let's see, I don't know if this works. I haven't tested this out. And here you cannot, see, can you take? You cannot allow the bishop to take. I guess, yeah. So what do you do if you take here? That's the question. So maybe queen down here is the wrong move. Hmm. So let's see here. If you take, and you take, so red is going to take there next. Okay, and if green does nothing. Okay, so you have to defend the queen. So you can't take. Well, I guess you can because you're just going to take the queen anyway. Okay, and I guess you're technically up a queen here. Let's see. Okay. That one you could just take, I think. Yeah, so that doesn't work out. Very tricky line. Let's look again really fast. So you move up. Okay. So you have to take it, I think. And this is mad tricky. Maybe instead of blocking, the only option is to just move the queen over. In that case, I think you have to do this one. Okay, so then the sharp move has to be taken over here. But then you're on a light square. And then you have to defend, I think. And then what do you do here? Maybe now you attack the queen and you go for this one, because that's a weak point and you don't want to allow them to pressure that. Now, I don't know if... I think you have to move the bishop now. Maybe you just save a check with the bishop. Oh no, you can't really save a check. Maybe you go over here to prepare this one. So I guess at this point, maybe you have to defend the pawn. Any rate, this is a very tricky position, and I don't know whether you can counterattack against the knight jump. As you can see, there's a lot of ideas here. So one option, which seems to be like an even safer option, is just take the knight, but then you open up a file for red, which seems to be like an automatic advantage. So I think in this position, I don't know, this is even having me wonder, at this point, I'm even wondering if pushing the pawn up is the best move. Maybe because that wastes a move. Maybe you really need to just, I don't know what. This is wild. But anyway, this is what I've been looking at. If assuming there is some solution to this knight jump, I think the system, like let's say that this is, let's look at the queen position, because the queen position will be similar, I think, in this system, no matter what you do. Say you go with normal queen development like this, because I've only seen this knight jump once, and I think it's a very critical line to look at, because you really are able to take advantage of this diagonal on the king. I think that here you really, let's see, you really just want to get the queens developed, and if now you go in, and now you must push the rook pawn to defend. And you don't want to be caught off guard. That's one thing to remember. So let's say you do all this. Okay. Push the knight here. And this can go there next turn, remember. Don't know what you do here, but I think as green, it's really important to just do that, because you don't want to see this number. So just immediately block it off. And then this, as far as I can tell, like either the knight jump or the rook pawn up 2 are probably seem the most logical next moves for red and yellow to develop. But here, what I see is the ultimate game plan. For blue and green, obviously you want to block off this, because this right here, this move, it does 3 different things at once. First, it guards this rank. Second, it guards that. Third of all, it also blocks this diagonal that's been formed. And so what I see is an ultimate plan in this formation. You always want to have a watchful eye on the knight being able to snipe off that pawn. If you're able to get a grips on this pawn here, then what I see is you push the bishops out to first free up the diagonal, or at some point. And if you have a chance, you could always jump the knight here to block off this file. And the bishop is going to cover that, so the queens can't sink in. So this is how I view this overall opening system. Obviously, push the knight, probably push the pawn. I don't know how this opening continues. It's still too early to really understand the nature of how to best play this. But the knight jumping here, first of all, it leaves the bishop to protect this very important square, and of course, bishops will attack very quickly if this bishop goes up to defend. Also, it allows jumping up to block off, and third of all, it gives extra defense to this weak square. So as far as I can tell, these are the main ideas behind this new opening system. And maybe I missed something. Of course, I probably did, because I've only played this opening, like, I don't know, less than 10 times. So obviously I'm going to be wrong about a few things. But if you think I missed anything or wish to add anything in the comments, feel free to do so. And I will catch you next time. Peace out.